Hey guys, it's Yishan here. Today I am back with another installment of an ultimate combo video guide. Today we have Spright Tri-Brigade, which out of all the combo guides that I've put out, this one has been absolutely crazy to work with. There are just so many different lines that you have to explore. I'm going to be bringing you some of the lines that I think were best in my testing. I want to thank you all the people that were on the stream when I was doing combo theories. I know I can't get all of your ideas in one video, but no matter what you were suggesting, it was tremendously helpful. There are so many different variations and so many different ways to combo depending on how you build your deck. One of the main differences between Tri-Brigade decks is whether you choose to run the mercourier package or not. I am a really big fan of the mercourier package. I think especially for Spright Tri-Brigade in any sort of Tri-Brigade deck, it makes your good hands so much better that it allows you to compete at that meta level. So I think it's worth the risk personally. But I will go over combos because for both kinds of decks, because I know a lot of people think they're bricks. As always, the combos will be in the time description, whatever that's called. So you can just click around, find which one you want to reference. If you guys haven't subscribe already. Man, I'm mincing my words here. Yeah, we're climbing up to the 10K, and I would really like to get there. So thank you so much if you haven't already. I look forward to having you on the channel. Let's get started with Spright Starter, the one card Spright Starter combo. Now, the reason to build Spright Tri-Brigade is because of this card. This card is absolutely insane. Everyone knows this already, but it just gives Tri-Brigade that extra dimension that makes it incredibly hard to hand trap. So you're going to go with this combo. Now, we're going to do a deck profile later. You'll actually only need one Spright Blue in your entire deck to play this whole deck. So it's actually relatively cheap to play if you already have an existing Tri-Brigade core. So you're going to go blue in agenda. I'm not going to bother with the life points here, and I will be doing a deck profile later on what I think works well. I would recommend getting the Smashers, especially with Mystic Mine still in the meta. I think this is just a nice interruption to have. If you don't have if you don't want to play Smashers, you just grab another starter. It's no issue there. And you're going to turn these two into, I don't know why I'm looking at my deck here. You're going to turn these two into Gigantic Spright. Okay, Gigantic Spright is going to use its effect to summon Kitt from the deck. Okay, and then you're going to link these two off. Now, this is where the first divergence of what you want to play can be. I know already, this seems so basic. There are two options here. I'm going to cover the first and maybe consider the most combo-y option, IP Masquerade. Okay, now I'm going to little disclaimer here. I do not recommend IP Masquerade, and I'm going to show you exactly why here. Okay, so let's say we're playing IP Masquerade. Then we would use Kitt to send Nerval to the graveyard, and we would add any Tri-Brigade here. Now, if you're playing mercourier, you're not playing mercourier, it doesn't matter. If you're playing mercourier, I'd add mercourier. If you're not playing mercourier, I'd add Fraktall, because we're just throwing away a Tri-Brigade here. We're just going to get this IP Masquerade into the grave. Okay, so you just normal summon it. If you don't want to play mercourier, it's the same thing. You just grab a different Tri-Brigade. I'd recommend Fraktall. Then you go into your good friend, the Spright Elf. Okay, now Elf is going to revive your Kitt here, and you're going to, oops, that is not what I want to do. You're going to banish your other two Tri-Brigades. Again, it doesn't matter if you're playing mercourier or not, but if you are playing mercourier, you get this sort of extra value, shall I say, right? You get this extra value here, and you're going to go into the Bear Broom. You can do your mercourier things by adding the Albion. Now, again, if you don't have mercourier, you don't need to do this. This is sort of totally optional here. And then you go bottom of the deck, draw a card, and you can even spend your time to add the mercourier back. And this just gives you extra cards. And then, of course, you would want to link these two into your good friend Fraktall, and then you would use Bear Broom to add Revolt, and then you want to put, I guess in this case you'd put mercourier or a different card on the bottom of your deck, and then you'd set two cards, and you would pass the turn, and on your opponent's turn you would use Spright Elf to summon back IP Masquerade, and then you would use IP to link off with the Fraktall for an Appaloosa. You could also draw a card here and put one back if you want to. Drew into a Veiler, very nice. And you can sort of see that this is that main combo. So what you're going to be left with here is you're going to be left with a properly summoned Fraktall. You're going to be left with a properly summoned Kitt. and a properly summoned Nerval, and you could do all of this. Now, of course, if you didn't use the mercourier engine, you would simply have an extra Tri-Beast banished to add back off your revolt when you go for Charade, right? Does that make sense? You have Fairy Jet for 2, Kitt, Nerval, and the missing Tri-Beast. We had mercourier in the mercourier version, but you don't need to do that, right? So if that all makes sense, that's all well and good. This is very, very powerful. You're going to Appaloosa with 2 negates, Revolt, and a Spright Elf along with a Spright Smashers. Very, very powerful. Very excellent. Super strong combo. Now, why am I not a fan of IP Masquerade? Well, there's a first couple things. First of all, this never happens in a real game. If it does, honestly, you're probably going to win anyway, so I think it's a little bit win more. For example, when you're at this stage of your combo here, right, you're very, very vulnerable. You're very vulnerable because if you get like DD crowed on this IP, it is so bad. Or somehow they negate your elf before you can summon back IP with an imperm, because or they even negate your IP for that matter. There's so many things that can go wrong here. If you don't do this, you actually, even with the like non-mercourier line, you would only have 1 from the Kitt, 2 from the Nerval, and 3 from this Tri-Brigade you added to actually summon Shrike. You don't have enough for Shrike. You only have 3 material. Remember that this Bear Broom was summoned improperly. So I really, really don't like this combo for that reason. It's so rare that this resolves, and it's so risky when you actually make the first IP off the Gigantic and the Kitt, because getting like hand trapped on your elf, it just, everything is so susceptible. I don't like it. So what can you do if you don't want to go with this combo? So we showed the first combo with IP. Now let's show a different one without IP. This one doesn't utilize the mercourier package and is a bit safer. So out of all the combo, I think this is the lowest risk, lowest deck investment combo for a single starter. Here's how you do it. Okay, so you're going to go with starter here, and you're going to do the same thing. You're going to go blue into your good friend, the Jet, wherever they may be. Oops. I'm just going to add the Smashers now while I have the chance. Okay. You're going to take your damage. Don't forget that. And then you're going to overlay these 2 into your good friend, the Gigantic Spright. Okay. Same thing as last time. You're going to grab your Kitt from your deck. Your Kitt is going to link itself off. This time we're just going to go straight into the elf. Okay. Straight into the elf. Now, what is good about this combo? Well, it threatens a additional normal summon, right? So instead of adding Mercourier or Fraktall, we're going to add it to our hand, and instead of, for example, you know, specially or normaling it and having IP here and normaling this and then going to elf, we threaten right away. We say, hey, elf effect on Kitt, okay? And if this happens, you go elf effect, you summon your Kitt back, you can go pitch Fraktall. You pitch Fraktall, and you can send, I like to send Kerass. There's really, you know, up to that. And then just because you can revive it off elf, and then you can banish these 2, and you go into your good friend, the Bear Broom, and then you link these 2 off into your Pit Knight early. This, you know, this is pretty good investment. You have your 1, 2, 3, 4 Tri-Brigades. You get to go Bear Broom, add Revolt, put a card back, and then you also get this Pit Knight early in a game. So basically, you're trading Pit Knight early for IP. This is much safer because your Revolt is guaranteed at this point. You also save IP Masquerade space in your extra. I think Pit Knight early is worth playing because it has so much more viability in all the other combos involving Spright. So you don't have to rely on Spright Elf resolving. You can use your Spright Elf to get like blue or Jet, or for example, if you don't want to play Smashers, you can use Elf to summon back Jet and have something to tribute off. Lots of options here. Even if you want, you can even play Pixies and have Elf summon back blue to get Pixies to your hand. That's all so crazy. But this is your option. What does Pit Knight early do? Basically, when your opponent's monster when a monster this card points to activates its effect, you get to negate a monster your opponent controls and change its attack to 0. Now, it's important to remember this is like Thunder, Dragon, Titan / You have Thunder Dragon Titan / the Paleo cards, so you have to chain directly to your own cards. So your opponent can chain block you. It's also important to note that, for example, you can use Revolt to summon Shireg and get the effect negation as well. So lots of options there. I like how it turns the monster to 0, making your elf unthreatenable by those matters. And so yeah, this is another safer option. You can go with that. Okay, so those are your two options for when you start with starter. One's higher risk, higher reward. One's a bit safer, save some extra X space, all that. Okay. So let's go into the other options of the deck. Now, this is where the deck gets really scary because the truth is you're bound to almost always draw a Tri-Brigade with your starter. And one of the most common Tri-Brigade combinations to draw is either Kitt or Kerass. It's the same in either line, okay? And you're good, right? So you got either one of these and your starter, or this time you can draw blue or jet. It makes no difference, okay? And there's slight variations on the combo, but in general, if you draw starter, blue, jet, or one of these, it's sort of all the same, right? Okay, so let me go over with you the variations. It doesn't matter if you start with Kitt or Kerass, it's all the same. So let's just start with Kerass because it seems weaker, right? If you have blue in hand, you can go blue, get jet, get starter, and then starter you can use to summon something like a Spright red from your deck, right? If you have starter already, you would simply go blue into jet and you would add the smashers to your hand, right? I'm just going to show an anomaly here. Again, it's the exact same thing except either you have red or you have smashers in your hand. I will go through both lines. It's the same thing though from here, right? So what you're going to do is you're going to make your gigantic Spright again. Okay, oops, we got our gigantic Spright here. And what you can do is you can go and use gigantic Spright effect to special summon your good friend, the Kitt from the deck, okay? So you're going to special summon one you don't have. If you had Kerass, you summon Kitt. If you had Kitt, you summon Kerass. It doesn't really matter which way you go about it. So like I said, you can do it this way. And you can link these two off into Fraktall. This is pretty cool. Okay, so Fraktall is going to then use Kitt to send Nerval. Okay, Kitt to send Nerval, and Nerval effect can now add our good friend, the other Kerass or the other Kitt. It doesn't matter what you want to grab here. If you run 3 Kerasses, I'd grab a Kerass. If you only run 2 Kerasses, I'd grab a Kitt. Okay, and what you can do now is you can use the effect of Kitt to summon this, and you can banish 2. Now you want to make sure you don't banish your other 2 Tri-Brigade monsters you haven't used already. You can summon your good friend, the Double Dragon Lords. Okay, you link these 2 off into your Spright elf effect, revive the one you haven't used. You can banish these 2 for your very own Bearbrum, and you link these 2 off into your Pit Knight, and then you activate the effect, add the Revolt, and then you can set it, right? So you can see here, you've got your Carrot, your Red Negate, your Early Negate, your Double Dragon Lords, and you have your Revolt. Now, let's talk about zones here. The one issue with this combo is you got a lot of stuck zones here. So you could do it like this. If you don't have red, you could do it like this, and that way your Double Dragon Lords could be protected. So if remember, I said at the beginning of this combo, it's the same thing. I'll do it real quick. I could, it basically is the same thing, except you would have a extra, instead of red, you would have a Spright Smashers to your hand. You have to use your red and your Double Dragon Lords first. You need to clear up 2 spaces. So red would use this, Double Dragon Lords use the red. You clear up 2 spaces, and then you'd have enough because the Bearbrum was properly special summoned. You have 3 spaces for your Revolt. So that's how you would clear the stuff here. Even if you get Dark Ruler to do the same thing. You could look at the next combo where we look at the Fraktall plus starter lines here. And then we're gonna call it a video because there, we could combo for basically forever. There are just so many lines. I honestly can't keep them all straight. But we're gonna go over Fraktall plus starter and look at that. The Lord asks and we answer. Okay, so for example, let's say we didn't have this in our hand. I mean, it doesn't really matter if we have this in our hand or not, but just for the sake of argument, just to keep things simpler for my sanity, let's do this, right? Okay, so we'd go Fraktall, add this. Okay, so I don't know what you want to start with. You want to start with Starter? You want to probably just start with Starter, actually, in this combo, because you sort of disguise, again, what you're doing, right? So, okay, boom. Boom, where's our other good guy? Our Jet. Again, see, it's kind of nice. You only have to run 2 mini sprites, and you add your friend, the Smashers, okay? And what we can do here is we go like this and overlay, okay? And then we're going to use the same thing, same old summoning Kitt from the deck, right? And in this instance, we can go into our elf, and then Kitt can send our good friend mercourier, because we already have a way to send Nerval to grave. Now that we have the Fraktall here, we can send the Nerval to grave. Okay, don't worry, I will cover the non-mercourier line. Fear not. It's basically the same thing, honestly. But yeah, it's basically the same thing, but we'll still cover it anyway. So you go boom, boom. Let's add Kerass. I like to have a level 2 engrave for elf follow up later. So if you don't have Kerass already, let's grab Kerass. We're not going to discard this turn sequence. So we'll do this. Okay. And we'll go Kerass, banish for our good friend, this one. Okay, now again, if we had the Branded Sword in our hand, we could have just not banished mercourier first. We could have banished the other other tries first, then made this, and then what we're gonna do, because now we're gonna search with mercourier now. Send this to grave, add this, put it on the bottom, draw a card. But if we had the sword already, we would have had to banish other 2 tries to make this first, then link it off so we can put back our good friend, or our bad friend, the Branded Sword. Jet here can draw 1, pull him back. We can chain the sword here to add the mercourier to our hand. Okay. And then draw 1, put 1 to the bottom of the deck. You can go this one now, revive the Kitt. Okay. And then you can banish for your double Dragon Lords here or here. Now, you could put it next to your Bear Room. Why would you want to do that? The main reason is that you free up spaces, basically, so you have this link zone for follow-up later, whereas this could be a little more cramped, but this way you get your double Dragon Lords targeted, protected, and then you can do this, make your Pit Knight, you add your Revolt again, and you continue on your merry way, put back, whatever junk you've drawn. And you've got Smashers, Veilers, 2 bounces here, targeting protection. You got it all basically here. Really, really strong. Now, that's basically, you basically, okay, so here's what you can think about. With your extra Tri-Brigade, you can get a extra double Dragon Lords, plus much easier Revolt follow-up for your troubles, right? So extra Tri-Brigade equals extra negate. Some lines you can go mercourier, some lines you can't. It's too taxing to go into all the different mercourier lines. You sort of have to figure those out yourself if you want to go more complex. But let's go into the non-mercourier Fraktall line, and then let's call it a wrap, shall we? So, okay, this guy doesn't exist on our deck. This guy doesn't exist. And we get ourselves our good friend Fraktall and Starter. Okay, so it's the same kind of thing here. You start with Starter, okay, and then Starter goes blue. You're doing a lot of this with your combos. Blue, Jet, Smashers. Okay, we got there, guys, we got there. Okay, overlay into this one. Okay, effect, summon out this one. Okay, link. You can go into the elf now. Send Nerval. Add. Let's just add. I'm gonna say let's just add Kerass. Okay, Kerass. Sure, we have Fraktall Kerass. Like I said, I like to get the things in rotation here. But it really doesn't matter. Actually, it might even be safer to add like another Fraktall in this case, because you go Fraktall, send Kerass, okay, and again, it doesn't. This is just because you don't have the mercourier lines. You revive, one of these, right? You banish for your good friend here. You save, so this line you can save your normal summon because you can do like something like this. You can use that to summon this out, right? Make this guy, you could draw one, put one back, banish, and you can summon your double dragon lords, and then you make these into your pit knights. So it's the same thing basically. You just don't get the extra value, and you get your revolt still. So if you don't think you need the extra value, then by all means, you don't need to run the package in your deck. You still to do the same thing, except you lost a card from your hand. But again, alas, the combos are still extremely powerful, extremely thing. What I like about this though is it doesn't really matter where they hand trap you. You can still just keep comboing off, and that's why I like these lines. They're so safe. It's like unstoppable, basically. You got like Tri-Brigade plus Starter. It's so hard to stop, right? So you're in a good shape here, no matter what you do. I hope these combos have been helpful to you. I know we're just scratching the surface. If you've got like really cool combos ideas, I'm sure I'm missing something. Leave it in the comments below. Otherwise, guys, Jesus, I really can't talk. I hope you've enjoyed this installment. I hope you've learned something new. I hope you go and try this out at your locals, your regionals. Hey, even why not your YCSs? Why not, right? So I hope you guys enjoyed this. Subscribe if you haven't already. I enjoyed showing off these combos and learning them. I'm looking forward to sort of keep innovating and testing this deck. Until next time, guys, I will see you all in the next video.